Hey everyone, thank you for being here today. Whew. I shared that you probably need to bolster maybe a couple blocks, and I think that's it. Padding for the knee, since we're going to be down on the knee. This theme today, I know Cindy's heard many classes based on this topic, and I know probably Cindy, Meredith, y'all probably heard this topic too. But I haven't talked about this in a few months at least. But it's something that I don't mind regurgitating as often as possible because it is one of the main principles of yoga that shows up over and over and over again in several different manners. And basically, I had a student contact me yesterday morning, and she was so excited because she had disappeared. She was like a regular student weekly. And then all of a sudden, I hadn't seen her since Christmas. And so she sent me a text. She was like, hey, I'm finally getting to come to class. I had broken my toe. I'm in a new relationship. Life is good, but I haven't made it to yoga. And I was like, oh, well, I'm glad you're coming back. Do you want me to do your favorite pose? Or do you want me to do a certain theme? And so she wasn't kidding. She sent me a theme. She was like, let me think on that a moment. And then she wrote back a theme that she wanted me to talk about, and it was about expectations and how we place expectations on ourselves and how we often place expectations on other people and how expectations can breed disappointment. And so how I brought this into the yoga philosophy is there is a theme all through Patanjali's Yoga Sutras. And the theme is practice and non-attachment, practice and non-attachment, practice and non-attachment, practice and non-attachment. Seriously, it gets brought up over and over and over again. That's part of the general theme. Then you start breaking down the different segments and you say, oh, okay, and the yamas and the niyamas, it talks about letting go of expectations because it talks about non-attachments. So non-attachment towards people, towards places, towards things, outcomes, and expectations. It includes all of that. And what I want you to consider is it not only shows up in the core philosophy, it shows up even again in the kleshas. And we just did kleshas and we also did the koshas. The kleshas are the root causes of suffering. And one of those is the fear of the unknown or the fear of change. Do you see how expectations can go in with that? Because we set, again, expectations too high sometimes for ourselves or another person instead of just letting us be us, instead of allowing you to just be you, right? Can you see how placing those expectations on people is an elusive form of control? And it's out of our control. Another person's thoughts, words, and actions are out of our control. It doesn't matter if it's your lover and partner of 30 years. They're their own unique person. You can't control that. It doesn't matter if it's your 14-year-old child. They're still their own individual. And you got to be able to give them room and give them grace. This is something that I'm recording this, so sorry, not sorry, but it's the truth of the matter. My son and I, moved in with my boyfriend and his daughter over the pandemic, and when you put personalities right in the same household together, then naturally you got to find your groove with each other, especially if you're already set in your ways. So now you've got two adults coming together that are really set in their ways. And then you also have two teenage children coming together that are going through their, big life change. So that's one thing that we've had to work on as a family. It's like, don't sweat the small stuff. Don't sweat the small stuff. It's okay. It's okay if the dishes are not put exactly where they're supposed to be. At least they unloaded the dishwasher. Be happy with that, right? It's like those kind of expectations are silly, but it's still an everyday example that I think anybody can get caught up in. And that's just a little thing. Think about the big things. And so I love that she wanted this thing, because I think this is something that is the hardest thing to practice with yoga, is the non-attachment towards things, people, places, situations, outcomes, and expectations. So think about how expectations can breed disappointment. So if we want to avoid disappointment and suffering, let go of the expectations. And I truly, truly believe that is one of the spiritual lessons. If we're look at life as a big spiritual classroom, I feel like the pandemic is trying to teach us that. It's trying to teach us to be more present. It's trying to teach us not to fear change. And it's trying to teach us how to just roll and adapt and continue to evolve and stay hopeful and stay optimistic despite what's happened. Let go of expectations. The reason why she wanted me to bring this up is because of the pandemic. She said, I know I'm not the only one right now who's making plans, and the plans get totally derailed. I know I'm not the only one wanting certain things to be mapped out and to occur, and it falls apart, right? Let go of expectations. We'll be happier if we do. All right, so let's start on our backs. We're gonna start with core work, not my favorite, but that's what we're gonna do. So we're gonna lower to our backs, separate the feet. Place your hands to your belly and close and rest your eyes. So have your hands resting on your belly, because the belly is the place of our inner strength. It's the place of our personal power, right? And we can become empowered or disempowered. This is how we set some healthy boundaries. And this is also the place that gives us the courage and the confidence to know that all is good and we can let go of the expectations. So breathe it down into your belly and let there be movement here. Let your belly balloon up and down as you breathe in. And let it drop down and in as you breathe out. I want you to be contemplative once you drop into your body and once you connect to your breath. I just want you to ponder the question: when things don't go according to plan, if things don't happen according to your expectations, how do you feel? How do you respond? How do you react? Do you try to force it, or do you just flow with it? Because think about if we're coasting downstream, and we are just going with the flow. But if we were forcing, we're trying to swim upstream, and that's much more challenging. Because we're going against the flow and we're facing a lot of resistance. So let's set our intention today to try to move beyond expectations so that we can open our minds and open our hearts. And as we open our mind and our hearts, this is going to open us up to infinite possibilities. There's a great quote that says, try not to expect anything. In this way, everything stays open to you. I want you to hear that again. Try not to expect anything, so that in this way, everything is open to you. Take 3 more breaths. And then we're going to start to fire up the core. and stoke those inner flames. Let's begin by bringing the feet close together. We're going to take the hands up underneath the back of the thighs. So you're basically sitting on the hands. You're going to point your toes, activating the peroneal muscles attaching to the shin. Activate your hip flexors and lower belly as you sail both legs skyward. Once you pike the legs, flex the ankles at the top, and you're going to exhale, lower, slowly, and hover the feet. Good, point the toes. Inhale, pike the legs up. Flex through the ankles and lead with the heels to lower and hover. All right, keep this rolling. Let your inhale pick up the legs and allow the exhale to fire up the core as you control that mechanic and then hover, resisting and defying gravity. Do 3 more. Double leg lifts. Last one. This time, after you hover a brief moment, lower the feet. Remove the hands from underneath the body, and then slowly sail the right leg solo up towards the sky. Now, go ahead and place your hands behind the back side of your leg. And allow the sole of the foot to face the ceiling. Allow it to ascend up, spreading the toes. Far into your left leg that's resting on the ground. So it's not at rest, there's actually some muscular activity. And then explore your flexibility with the right leg. Some of you might be able to slide the hand up to the calf. Some of you might be able to take a hold of the foot even. Let go of expectations that you're putting on yourself or your body. I say this a lot, but I really think it applies even for today's theme. Just because we can doesn't always mean we should. Check in with the response of your breath. Your breath is still flowing with ease, you're good. If it starts to be held or restrained, it's usually a sign you're doing too much physically. All right, on your next exhale, go ahead and lower out of Pada Uttanasana A, and then slowly uplift your left leg. Relax your hands behind the thigh. Spreading the toes, reaching the padding of the foot upward towards the ceiling. Now fire into the right leg. Contract those quads as you press down through the thigh bone. And then initiate that playfulness to discover where the flexibility is in the top leg. Can you take it to the calf? Is it possible to find the foot? And can you let go of any expectations? Now we're going to keep this left leg up, but we're going to take the hands down behind your thigh again. On the in-breath, we're going to walk the hands up the back of the leg. We're going to pierce the navel in, and we're lifting the head and shoulders and chest. And then as we exhale, we walk it back down. Inhale, walk it up. Exhale to send it down. 2 more. There's a sequence we're working up to towards the end of the practice that's going to require some core activity. So I wanted to start off just tapping in to this area. Good, release your left leg. Take the right leg back up. Same thing, just hands to the back of the thigh. We're gonna inhale, walk it up. Squeeze that belly in as you lift the forehead towards the knee. And then exhale, travel back down. We got a few more rounds. Last one. Now you're gonna keep this right leg up, but you're gonna sail the left arm over the left thigh, the right hand catch the leg, and you're bringing the forehead up towards the knee again. Padangusthasana seat. And then we'll swap. Right leg down, catch the left leg. Right arm reaches over, head is lifting. And then we're gonna start to alternate back and forth. Scissor the legs, pump and lift. Inhale, scissor. Exhale, pump and lift. This time that lower leg can hover instead of spilling down to the mat. Okay, we're almost done with this. One more to each side. When you lower down, hug the knees in. Let the low back flatten down. Apanasana, firming here. I release all my scattered energy and expectations to rise up and away to the sky. On your next in-breath, I want you to create the star pose on your back. Legs elongating in front of you, arms reaching overhead, but there's a broadness between the hands and the feet. It's like you're creating an X shape with your body. Breathe into your abdomen, breathe into the heart. Now slide your feet back. Roll over to the right side. And now we're going to get up and stand. From a standing position, look down at the feet. Line up ankles, knees, and hips. Bring your hands to prayer position at your heart, chin parallels to the floor, and look straight ahead with your eyes. We're going to start to flow. Inhale, reach the arms up to Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, pull down to your Uttanasana. From your standing forward fold, inhale, come halfway up, elongate the vertebrae. And then exhale, spill back down. Inhale, the left foot's gonna step way back. Really root into that front foot, stabilize that front knee, and bring yourself up to a crescent lunge. From your crescent lunge, roll the left hip forward, drive your right hip back. Press down to the mound of the front big toe. Now that you've angled the hips better, lift up your side body, spread out through the fingertips. And then as you exhale, the hands come down and frame the front foot. The back knee sinks down, untuck the back toes. From here, press through the right foot, draw up through the pelvic floor, come into Anjaneyasana, your half lunge. Arms framing the face, backing the arms up past the ears, adding your peripheral line view if possible. Good, exhale, lower the hands. Once you lower the hands, curl the back toes under. We're stepping into plank. From your plank, shift forward, lower down to your Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, balloon open to upward facing dog. Exhale, roll back over the toes to downward facing dog. Just a few inches between the big toes.
shoulder distance between the hands. Carry the hips up and bow the head down. We're going to pass through another vinyasa. So inhale, come forward, shoulders reach stack over wrists. Head is up. Shift forward, sink down to your Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, rise to upward facing dog. Exhale, roll back. Downward facing dog. Anytime you're in downward facing dog and we're pausing for more breaths, this is where we reset. This is when we recalibrate. This is when we refuel. And we do that with the power of breath. Inhale, come forward, plank. Exhale, lower down like a low push-up. Inhale, fire up your arms as you stretch your spine. And exhale, roll it back. Downward facing dog. So open up the underside of the belly. Cinch in through your low ribs. And breathe well. That breath will help us to calm the mind and nervous system so that we can affirm mentally within calmness is radiating within every fiber of my being. Now on your next in breath, let's step the right foot forward again. Same side, arms are going to lift. And then you're going to stabilize here, because this is a balancing pose, since the back foot is not planted. Square the hips, make that little adjustment. Elongate your side body. Feel free to strike a back bend if that feels good and freeing to your system. All right, exhale, the hands are going to come down like we did before. The back knee will drop again, untuck the back toes. We're coming into that Anjaneyasana. Before we just had more of a vertical spine. Here, the second go around, I'm giving you the option to take a back bend. You don't have to take it. You have choices. Remember, we're trying to free up the heart and free up the mind. Hands together, pull up to the pelvic floor and in through the navel, because you're now going to twist to the right. Left elbow to the opposite side of that front thigh or knee. You have the option to stay here, but you also have an option to curl the back toes and to lift the back knee. If you choose to lift the back knee, push the arm into the leg so that the navel can fly up and over the thigh. Good. And the heart can dial towards the thumbs. Squeeze the right hip towards you. Exhale, unwind, plant the hands. The back knee should lift at this point if it's still lowered, because we're coming back to the crescent. Perhaps adding in the back bend, yogi's choice. And now exhale, hands down. We'll step the back foot forward. And then we'll bow down. Let the crown of the head face the floor. Let your shoulders and neck unravel. Affirming here, nothing and no one on this earth can hold me down or back, not even expectations. Press down to the soles of the feet and inhale, charge all the way up. Urdhva. Exhale, hands to heart. Inhale. Exhale. Beautiful breath, by the way. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, drop back in. This time, inhale, step your right foot back. Slowly lift the hands. Find your way into crescent. And just focus here. Turn the right hip forward. Slide the left hip back. Get heavy in your front foot. And then get more extended through your upper body. Find a point to gaze at with your eyes. Exhale, lower the hands. Sink the back knee, shin foot. Inhale, as you push down through the front foot, that you'll notice that starts to pull the pelvic floor up. And that's what we want if we're being more active. The spine's going to be more erect in this first phase. The second you go around, when we get to the side, you can strike the heart opener. For now, just kind of focus on your landing, your foundation, the lifting, the hips. Exhale, still the hands. Nice, curl the back toes, get to plank. Exhale, shift forward, lower down, chaturanga, build some upper body strength. Inhale, open the heart. Exhale, rock and roll back. Be present with your body. Be present with your breath. We can train ourselves to do that here. We'll have more patience, more understanding when things don't go our way or when things don't go according to plan, and we can let go of expectations. Inhale, forward plank. Bring in that strength as you drop and hover. Inhale, open the front body. Exhale, rock and roll back. You're gazing in the direction of the feet. Fill up the back of your lungs. And let calmness radiate within and without. One more vinyasa for this, sun's out. Inhale, plank. Exhale, lower. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, roll back. Let your breath be your best friend right now. Inhale, left foot's gonna launch forward. Coming up to crescent. Once you square the hips, maybe see if you can take the back bend. No pressure. Just see what's possible. Exhale, hands down. Back knee, shin, foot down. Inhale, drive up. Your choice to be here, which is perfectly fine, or chest forward. All right, this is where we're going to go into the twist. So to go into the twist, we need to lift up, push into the left foot to draw up to the pelvic floor, pull in the navel, so we have the core work happening as we twist. Choose to get the back knee down, or feel inspired to lift it up. If you lift up that back knee, put a little bit more work into the upper body. Okay, I can't do that on this side today. Giving it up. So I had to let go of that expectation. The other side works beautifully. This side, not so well. Notice where it shows up for you. All right, from the twist, unwind it. Now, if your back knee's down, lift it up. We'll all be joining back together for the final crescent. Choosing to be more vertical or arch the back. Exhale, release. Back foot steps forward. Exhale, release down. So be here in Uttanasana moment. Forward folds help to teach us the aspect, the art of letting go. Letting go so we can go with the flow. Letting go so that we're not placing those high expectations on ourselves or another. Inhale, root the feet, come all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart. All right, ready to roll again? We're changing it up this time. Inhale, arms reach. Exhale, fold in. Inhale, lift halfway. Look out with your eyes. Shine out with your heart. And exhale, fold in. All right, on this in-breath, we're stepping the right foot back. Now, the difference is we're not going to step so far back we're in the lunge. We're only stepping about here. We're dropping the right heel to the mat, and we're slowly lifting the hands to come up. Now we're going to go where I kind of demoed earlier. So look at your feet first. And if you feel tipsy-turvy, you can separate that right foot a little wider apart, and that can help with balance. All right, your hips, I want your hands to be here. I want you to make sure the hip points are focused ahead and they feel pretty even. It's going to be important for the next phase. Now expand your wings. And as we exhale, we're only going to come about halfway down. We're not trying to dump all the way over. So we really have to rely on the pressurization through the feet, the lift through the kneecaps, the engagement in the core. From this version of pyramid, lunge that front knee and get ready to fly an airplane. And then be like a blue angel. So the left wing will turn down, the right wing will come up. I'm discovering my left leg is not very stable today. So I'm using a block on this side. You can use a block too. Now the hard part is coming back. So lower the right wing and hip and lift your left wing and come back to airplane. Soften the front knee, dip the back toe down, heel down, straighten the front leg, and now you can fold over to pyramid. That might have been a new flow for you, but now that you're familiar with where we're headed, it may be easier on the second side. However, drop the expectations. In this pose, we use an affirmation. I give myself over into the flow of grace. That grace can come in when we let go. And inhale, lift the head up. Wiggle the right toes back, lunge that front knee. Here we go, left foot plank. Exhale, lower to chaturanga. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, roll it back to downward facing dog. Inhale, roll forward, plank. Exhale, chaturanga dandasana. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Rolling through one more vinyasa, unless you need child's. Inhale, plank. Exhale, sink down. Inhale, rise up. And exhale, roll it back. Inhale, right foot's gonna step up. But when it steps up, remember we weren't so far apart with the feet before. So hop the back foot forward, lower the heel, and then when it's safe to lift the hands, come up and prepare for that next flow. Stabilize your feet by rooting them down. And that will help to stabilize the foundation, square the hips. You can use your hands for that informational touch. And then open the heart by spreading your wings. And exhale, dip down. So basically, we're just trying to get the torso more parallel to the floor. And then when you're ready to balance, bend the front knee. Lift off the back foot. Try to find some smooth air. Bring the right hand down to the floor, to the block, or to hover. Half moon. Come back to fly straight. Bend the right knee, tiptoe the back foot down, heel down. And then release. So sometimes if the flow is like brand new to you, you're like, really, you want me not only to go forward, but you want me to exit out the same way? So, just trust your body. If you need to come out a different way, it's okay. You're dropping the expectations. Remember the thing, practice and non-attachment, practice and non-attachment, practice and non-attachment. And knowing this, I give myself over to the flow of breath. All right, lunge the front knee. Back foot steps forward. Lower down with the Uttanasana. Inhale, come all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart. All right, we do one more sun step. All right, inhale, arms open. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, release. Inhale, right foot back, way back. All right, go ahead and drop the back knee, shin foot. I'm so happy you guys that needed the blankets are bringing it in, because I felt the same, bring it in. So if you need it, obviously you did. Heel toe the left foot to the side a little bit, so that your left arm can come to the inside of the foot. And this is where you can be on your fist. You can bring a block under your forearms like this. Some of you might be able to do away with the block altogether and drop down to the mat. It's not right or wrong, good or bad, better than or less than, no matter what. See what's possible. Sometimes we wing the knee open. And you're welcome to do that, but I'm going to be more active. So in other words, I'm staying solid on the left foot and I'm keeping that knee closer to the shoulder. But if you want to be more yin, you know that other shape, feel free to take it. Inhale, slowly lift the head and chest. All right, so I only do this pose a couple times a year, and I always have to do it around Easter because it's a cross pose, and it's not easy. All right, so we're gonna either be on the hands or be on the forearms. Either way, I'm gonna be on my hands for this. You're gonna tuck the back toes, and then you're gonna crawl the knee back, and this is where it gets tricky with the blanket. And then hands back, knee back, foot back. Okay, you just do it 2 to 3 baby steps until that knee is no longer right over the ankle. Your next phase will be coming down to the forearms. Drop in a little lower, if that's possible, right? Again, don't force, don't fight. To go into the full cross pose, however, it's a balancing pose. So the left arm hooks underneath the left thigh, and then you shift your weight towards that foot in order to pick up your right hand and cross it behind the back. And this is cross pose.
And it's not a pose you can hold forever. It's one of those you hold for about 5 seconds. Or at least that's my experience. Yes, yes. And you kind of either doing it right. Yep. Now instead of twisting though, there you go. Yep. Stay there. Oh, it's tough, right? You're holding it longer than I can. All right, I need to exit. I feel like I'm splitting. All right, so then you creep and crawl forward. So it's like an inchworm forward. Heel toe, the left foot in. Frame that front foot with your hands. Now let's exit to plank. Shift forward, lower down, chaturanga. Inhale, lift to up dog. Exhale to down dog. And we've been doing 3 vinyasas in each sun style. So if you feel the desire to keep going, do 2 more. You may need down dog. You may need child's pose. No expectations. You're going for the vinyasa, 3rd one. Go to cross with the right foot leading. Remember, we do the hip opener first, so step your right foot through. Go ahead, lower the back knee. Heel toe the right foot over to the edge of the mat. Right hand crosses over to the inside. So again, you can be on flat palms, you can be on fists, you can bring the floor to you with a block, or you can drop all the way down. Each side may be different in the approach. We don't want to linger too terribly long because the next one's more intense than this, okay? So let's stack onto the hands, curl the back toes, and inch back. Knee back, foot back, hands back. 2 or 3 baby steps. And then sink down to the forearms. By the way, this can be your cross pose, so don't feel like you have to thread the arms. But if you feel that desire, hook the right arm under, shift your weight over towards the right foot to pick up your left hand. Hold and breathe. You're ready to release. And I'm going to make the exit easier for this, okay? Shift your hips back. Slide your right knee back. Ha, child's. Oh, that feels good. Just melt down into this pose, and if you want a more relaxed style, you can hook the arms around you. You can scoop the belly in. Rest on the brow. Take a moment just to withdraw from everything, the world, this room, this practice. And just be held by the support of your breath. Remember, this is not to be competitive, even with yourself. Letting the ego go
and assist us in letting go of expectations. Slide your hands forward and slowly come up. We're gonna shift the legs on the grounds. I'm done with you.
We're gonna separate the feet. When you slide the feet apart, we're gonna go slightly deeper, okay? So the way to go slightly deeper, Gia Thrasher always made us do this. You take your hands behind your thighs, you lift your seat, and you just slide forward, and then your feet will slide wider. Do you remember she used to always make us do that? All right, you see, it took us to a whole different depth. Now flex your ankles. Squeeze a little through your knees and feel your quads engage. Lift up to the crown of the head. So I was looking at Cindy because we used to go to the same studio back in Donaldson when we lived there years ago. And Jan was my first teacher. And when I first started yoga, I couldn't do more than this. This was it. It was like, I cannot do any more than this. So I want you to be cautious with it. Try to maintain the integrity of the action in the legs that you just promoted, and try to maintain the length in your back as you start to hinge from your hips. And you're just kind of walking it out. If you round your back and just slump, you're not really getting the work. So it's about lengthening the back, pulling the heart up and out, and then folding. Finding where you can be in Konasana, this wide angle position. Slowly come up. All right. Hook your hands up underneath your knees and slide them closer together. And scoot forward on your mat. So I'm seeing we're on the back side. We actually need to be a little bit more on the front side. I'm going to demo really quick what we're going to do so you guys have the visual. We're going to take the peace mudra around each big toe, and then we're going to lift the feet. Now I'm showing you this variation because keeping the feet held away from the floor, you may or may not be able to straighten the legs this time. So if you have a hard time straightening the legs, for instance, if your chest concaves, it's better to have the knees bent and the chest lifted and open. Okay, so just see what's possible there. And then we're gonna roll back. That bolster was in my way, so make sure there's nothing in your way. And we'll hold for about 5 breaths. And then I did it too fast. You're gonna try to catch yourself here. And then boom, boom. You're gonna go back into the forward fold. Okay, let's try it. Peace mudra. Determine here, can I keep my chest open with my legs straightening? Or do they need to be bent? It's okay. And then rock and roll back. Like plow, if your legs are apart. And it's okay if your feet don't touch the floor, they don't have to. I love the laughter. Breathe. And then try to catch yourself into that balancing pose. Upavisa Konasana. Oh, no, I didn't do enough. It's truly a Monday morning. And then release and fold. It is, right? That it is. It's abs. And that's why I started with the abdominal work at the very beginning. Even though we did abdominal work with planks and down dog and things like that too, but I didn't want to really fire up the core because that is like what you have to focus on with that. All right, inhale slowly. Bring the legs back together. All right, so we're Remember, our first exercise core work was piping the legs. And then what we just worked on was having the legs open. You don't have to do this. I'm gonna give you choices, because I like choices, and we haven't had enough choices in the world lately. So here, one choice. You can just do waterfall. You're like, I'm good here, thank you very much. All good. You could even have the legs lifted and even splay them open if this is like all you got left, okay? I'm not gonna be able to get deep into the instruction of the next couple poses because of time. But those of you that are already familiar with headstand and you wanna try the piking or the scissoring, you can practice, of course, at a wall or freestyle. I'll show you two different ways really quick. One way would be Shirshasana 1. You measure, dip the head, walk the feet in, and then try hiking the legs up. Try hiking the leg down, if that's not in your practice. Or you could try Shirshasana 2, more of a tripod, lifting your heels, scissoring the legs up, scissoring the legs to come back down. Okay, so if you want to try one of those, since we've been working the core and those kind of body mechanics, you can, or take a block. Yes, lift the legs up, and then they can stay together, or you can open, either way. Can you do it from shoulders for me? Yeah, definitely. Yeah, or you could do, really, you could do shoulder stand to regular plow and then pike the legs back up. You see what I'm saying? You can work on that. Beautiful. I love the array of work you're doing in the room. It shows me you're really doing yoga. And you let go of expectations. To have that little bit of playtime. That's going to be our final inverted work. And you can prepare for our relaxation. You grab the bolster, you're welcome to use that bolster to slide up underneath the legs. You're welcome to use it for a restorative heart opening. Or not at all. Take your time. I'm gonna find some different music today. Shavasana. I'm gonna state something I said in the beginning in someone else's words, in case it hits home a little better for you. If we narrowly focus on expectations and specific outcomes, we close ourselves off to a wide spectrum of experiences and possibilities. So stay open to what each moment brings. Cultivating this openness is not easy, but it may gift us the opportunity to learn, to grow, and to even get stronger somehow.
Expectations feeds frustration. Expectation breeds disappointment. So in these final moments in Shavasana, this is about really releasing and letting go and allowing things to unfold. See if you can release your expectations. See if you can release your projections. See if you can look, listen, feel, and heal within.
Aware, breath. Breathe with the intent to re-enliven your body. Note a little movement here or there. Exiting out of the pose that you chose. Come up to a comfortable seat. Your hands together. And we all walk away from this practice being inspired to notice when or where, in what area of our life, with who we tend to place expectations upon. Maybe learn from this ancient art and science to practice non-attachment. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Namaste.